Hello to all my wonderful subscribers. Devout disciples, all students, welcome. This is your Master GongSun. Today I will continue with our discussion of the WenZi. This is the WenZi, understanding the mysteries for the teachings of LaoZi. You see me fidgeting with this hat because sometimes, this hat wasn't designed to be used with a headset. So that's why it's not always in the most proper place. Anyway, I'm using the translated version by Thomas Cleary. So please follow along. Here are more nuggets of wisdom, not from me, but from the many good books of Taoism, the 1,500 books that are considered canon in the philosophy and religion of Taoism. Chapter 24, LaoZi said, "Help the poor and needy, and a reputation is born. Promote what is beneficial and eliminate what is harmful, and merit is established." And just want to point this out. My comment on this is, if the point of Taoism is to achieve immortality, and the way to do that is through merit, then we have the formula right here. We have the answer as to how. We have to promote what is beneficial and eliminate what is harmful. That's how you establish merit. Simple, right? Let's continue. When there are no troubles in the world, even sages have nowhere to distribute their graces. When the upper and lower classes are on good terms with each other, even philanthropists have no projects to undertake. So that's essentially saying that there's no need to engage in philanthropy when the upper and lower classes are harmonized. Therefore, the government of complete people is imbued with virtue and embraces the way, or the Tao, promoting truthfulness and happily dispersing inexhaustible knowledge. Rhetoric is laid to rest and left unspoken, yet the world does not know to esteem those who do not speak. Now, that is true, because if you don't speak, they might think you're dumb, meaning not stupid, but unable to talk. Right, which is not always true. Some people stay quiet for strategic reasons. Right, that is definitely a good idea. So a way that can be articulated is not a permanent way, and names can be designated are not permanent labels. Now, if that sounds familiar, then you know that it's from the very first two verses of the Tao Te Ching, which is considered the main book or the Bible of the Taoist religion. A way that can be articulated or described is not a permanent way. So if that's not permanent, it means that it is temporary, right? So that's not the true way if you can even talk about it. So therefore, logically, you can say that some things are not describable, right? I keep using this analogy because it's true, but how do you describe a sunset to a blind person or the beauty of music to a deaf person, right? You cannot. Names that can be designated are not permanent names, so we can't even put labels on it. Whatever is written or inscribed and can be handed on to others is crude generalization. Yeah, because even if I do attempt to describe a sunset to a blind person, it is in vain, and I will never do it justice, because even the most articulate poet cannot describe a visual to someone who has no concept of what a sunset is or no concept of sight. Right? That is not possible. The idealized leaders of antiquity did different things, but with the same intentions. They took different roads to the same goal. Latter-day scholars, not knowing the unity of the way or the totality of virtue, take up the traces of things that have already happened and sit around talking about them. Even if they are very studious and learned, they cannot avoid confusion. So this is very much about doing versus reading, right? You can sit around reading about something, but if you just read about building a boat, but you've never actually built a boat, then I would much rather hire someone who's done a lot of boat building but is illiterate, right? Because at least they know what they're doing, right? So anyway, think about all that. This has been your Master GongSun. As usual, keep living in alignment with the Tao.